Hey my fuzzies, and welcome back to Miss Kiwi's place. It's your girl Miss Kiwi coming back at you again. So today I want to talk about healthcare and being heard and seen as a patient. Today I kind of had another run-in with my doctors. It started about a month ago. About a month or so ago, I had a really bad crisis. Went into the hospital, had to stay for like a week. Um, Everything went well during this visit, but at the end of the hospital visit, when I got discharged, the doctors and the sickle cell liaison, I guess that's what they call her, or the sickle cell coordinator. Um, they said if you need anything else, you're still having problems, your sickle cell still flaring up and everything, give us a call at the office and we'll see what we can do to help you, so that you won't have to come back into the hospital. I got out the hospital on a Thursday. I was still struggling, trying to go through a recuperation phase that I normally go through when I get out the hospital, but I wasn't bouncing back. And actually, I was reverting backwards and I was getting sicker. So I called the office. Um, this was around Martin Luther King Day because that Monday they were closed. So I called that Tuesday. And I left a voicemail that I was still having problems with my sickle cell. I thought that my potassium levels had dropped again and that I needed some additional assistance. So, left a message. No one called me back that Tuesday. So I called again Wednesday morning, and when I left the message Wednesday morning, I was like, yes, I left a message yesterday morning, and I still haven't heard anything back from anyone. I'm still struggling with my sickle cell. I'm still having a crisis. I believe my potassium has dropped low. Can someone please call me back? um, Maybe 30 minutes later, I got a call. And yes, I got your message. I got your message yesterday. It was late. I couldn't call you back. Um, it was later in the afternoon, so I thought I'd call you back sometime today. And then I got another message from you this morning. Well, if your potassium has dropped, then you need to call your primary care doctor. We only deal with things that have to do with your sickle cell. And I said, well, my potassium normally drops sometimes when I'm in a crisis. I'm still having problems in pain, with my pain, and it's not being controlled by my medicine. So I need further assistance. And she said, what do you want us to do? Now, normally we would, I have been told that I can come to the office, have my blood work drawn, see what my labs are. I can get treatment there, including getting fluids, getting pain medicine, and things like that, so I won't have to go back into the hospital. But this is not what this nurse was telling me. She said, what do you want us to do? And I was like, well, you know, the doctor told me to call the office if I was still having problems in pain and things of that nature. So call you guys and I could get some assistance. And she was like, well, you need to call a primary care doctor. Do you need us to find you a primary care doctor? Because we only treat things that have to do with your sickle cell. And I said, me having a sickle cell crisis is sickle cell. That's essentially what you're treating me for. And she said, well, You tell me what you want us to do, and we'll see if we can help you with it. If you don't want to do that, the only other thing you need to do is find a primary care doctor, because we don't deal with your potassium. I said, well, you're picking and choosing what you want to treat, because I have problems with my skin feeling like it's on fire. You say that you only treat things that have to do with sickle cell, and if it's only specific to a crisis, then why do you give me medicine for that? Like, you give me medicine to maintain a lot of other things that aren't necessarily sickle cell itself, but have been caused by sickle cell. So why is it all of a sudden there's a problem today? So, needless to say, she still was like, you need to call a primary care doctor. We're not treating your potassium, blase, blase. Completely ignoring the fact that I'm steady saying that I'm in a crisis. I'm having a lot of pain that's not being managed by my medicine. So, I get so upset that I called to make a complaint. So, I called back to the office, which I know I can't talk to my doctor because his nurse is the one that, well, her nurse is the one that is saying all of these things. So I have to call and make a complaint about that nurse and the whole clinic as a whole, to get any assistance. I call back and speak to the receptionist and get the number from the receptionist, because the receptionist doesn't know not to give me the number. So once I talk to the receptionist and she gives me the number for filing complaints, I call that number. It's actually a line that is manned by nurses, which kind of shocked me. And the nurses, basically, you tell them the situation and what's going on, and they let you know. Um, basically, they are a liaison between you and your doctor's office if you're having a problem, and they try to solve it. So, I tell them what's going on. I tell them about the messages. I tell them about the nurse, that, I wasn't getting any assistance. She didn't even tell me to go back to the emergency room to deal with the crisis. She was just like, what do you want us to do? Like, they weren't my doctor anymore. And the thing that they were treating me for was no longer their problem. And I mean, literally, like, what do you want us to do? That's not our problem. But you're treating me for sickle cell, so if I'm having a crisis and if I'm throwing up and I'm having all of these extra problems because of that, then I would think that falls under the umbrella of your problem. But nevertheless, after I had told these nurses or the liaisons everything that was going on, I'd say an hour or two later, my doctor calls me. And I can just tell by her tone that she has an attitude. And she's like, yes, what's the problem? And this, that, and the other. And I'm telling her exactly what I told the nurse. And she's like, well, you got to go back to the ER. If you're throwing up and you're in that much pain, then there's really nothing we can do in the office, because you can't keep your medicine down and you have to go to the ER for that. Okay, that's fine. Go to the ER. She actually told me, asked me was I gonna go, and asked me what time would I like to go. I told her I can make it to the ER by 12:30. So 12:30 on the dot, I make it to the ER. I sit there for like 5 hours without being seen. I had to go up to the desk and ask them to draw my blood, to process, to start processing me through the ER. I had been sitting there all this time, and they were literally going around me. They were taking people behind me and all of this stuff, and like skipping over me. People that came in after me that aren't in as, what I'm saying, as serious condition. They had like colds and things like that, and I'm like in pain and throwing up and stuff like this, and they're skipping over me. And you asked me to come to the ER at a specific time. You said that you were going to call them and let them know that I was coming and to process me through. That didn't happen. I was patient for like 5 hours. And that's when I went up there and started asking questions. One of the nurses gets an attitude and was like, it's not our fault that you're in the ER and that you have to wait. You just gonna have to sit over there until somebody calls you. And I was like, what do you mean it's not your problem that you have to wait? This woman rolled her eyes at me and some more stuff. She started talking crazy to another patient. I said, you know what? I don't want to be treated like this. I come in here, I've been rolling y'all patients around, helping y'all out and stuff, trying to keep my mind off all the pain I'm in. Walking around here, pacing, and you know what I'm saying, just doing anything to distract my mind from what my body is going through. So, for you to have an attitude with me is ridiculous in my mind. It was completely ridiculous. So, I asked to speak to the supervisor. I had one nurse take my IV out. This heifer, she done got an attitude so bad that they don't even want to take my IV out. So I didn't start having to act my color. And now I'm upset because I have to act my color and I have to go off and stuff because y'all don't want to do your job. So I get somebody to take the IV out my arm and I stand there and wait on the supervisor. Supervisor finally comes and I just tell him, I have never been treated so badly in the ER. And I've sat in this same ER and waited 10 hours to be seen. I have been in pain that bad that I've sat and waited 10 hours to be seen. For me to have been asked to come at a specific time and still had to wait 5 hours and have to come up here and ask y'all to do y'all job, have to ask y'all to draw my blood, have to ask y'all to, do this test, do that test, ask y'all, can I have pain medicine? He's like, well, I requested that the doctor give you pain medicine twice and she's denied doing it twice. For some reason, the hematology team has called and told them not to do anything for you until they see you and they review your blood work. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, it's noted in here not to admit you without the hematology's team's approval. Never heard this before in my life. Never been treated like this before in my life. Well, yes, I have, but not at this hospital. I've been almost arrested before, so that's a whole nother story time for you. But I have, at this point, reached my breaking point. And I just wanted to file a complaint and go home. I was in that much pain that I was crying in front of complete strangers. And I don't do that. I don't care how much pain I'm in. I do not like to cry in front of people. I don't even like to cry in front of my own family, my children, boyfriend, none of them. Because I feel like I'm stronger than that. I don't want sickle cell to have that much control over my life. So, um, he asked me, he was like, I really don't want you to leave in this type of pain. I really would, if you could please come back in. I have somebody put the IV back in. It doesn't matter. I really want you to be seen because you really have been a good patient. You have been really patient with us today. And you have really slipped through the cracks. You really were not treated right today. And I'm very sorry for that. Can you please come back in and I'll get you to the back and get you pain medicine within the next 30 minutes. He did what he said he was gonna do. He did everything he could. He processed me back, um, got in the back, did my blood work over. They got me some fluids and stuff. Um, did my blood work, got me pain medicine. Then finally the doctor came in. And I mean, they decided that they were going to keep, because I was still in a lot of pain, still throwing up, still having issues. So I got admitted. Um, when the hematology team comes to the floor to finally see me the next day, we end up getting into an argument. First, they send in the rookie that is new to the hematology team. This man is in here trying to trip me up and like asking me the same questions over and over and over and trying to repeat it back to me over and over and over and changing little words in it every time he says it. Like, he'll be like, so what you're saying is you are having a lot of pain. We got it under control. You got released, and the pain went all the way away. And when you got home, you weren't drinking your fluids and things like you were supposed to, and your pain went back up, and you had to come to the hospital. And I'd be like, no, that's not what happened. My pain never went all the way down. My pain was at like a 5 when I got released. And even though I was drinking my fluids and things and taking the pain medicine at home, my pain never went down below a 5. It started to return and go back up. And he'll be like, so what you're saying is you we got your pain down to a level 5. You went home and you were drinking your fluids. Okay. And you were taking your pain medicine, but you thought you were doing better, so you kind of slowed up on it, and your pain started to come back. Like, he'll try to change something every time. And he grilled me like this for 30-45 minutes. And then he went, and I mean, me and him had an argument. I mean, he even said that he was like, you need to get a primary care doctor because it doesn't sound like the problems you're having are sickle cell related. We don't believe that the pain that you're in is sickle cell related because your reticular type count is not high enough. I don't know who told these doctors that the only time a patient is in pain or having a sickle cell crisis is if their reticulocyte count is high. That is madness and foolishness at its best. Even when my reticulocyte count is not up, my blood count can be lower than what it's supposed to be. But because my reticulocyte count is not up, they'll say I'm not in the pain that I'm saying I'm in. Or that my pain isn't coming from sickle cell, it's chronic pain. And chronic pain, you shouldn't need narcotics and all this stuff for your chronic pain, and that you're taking narcotics for your chronic pain, and now you can't tell the difference between that and your sickle cell pain. Like, I don't know who told them this madness. It's madness. After me and the rookie had a go around for 30, 45 minutes, then the whole team comes back around, like maybe 30 minutes later. Now I have 3 people ganging up on me, trying to tell me about how the problems I'm having are not from my sickle cell, and I said this one thing and that wasn't what I said, or this isn't what my lab's showing. And then the ultimate disrespect, when I finally got upset about it and started defending myself, then they had the black lady that's on the team try to sister girl me. Like, oh, you said it was a 3 and this, that, and the other. And I mean, try to check me. And then when the white men leave out the room, she goes, well, I didn't want to have to get loud with you or get aggressive with you like that, but I just take it personally when someone leaves the hospital and then they come back and it seems like we didn't do what we were supposed to do. Well, but that's what happened. That's what happened. I left the hospital at a pain level of 5, came back into the hospital with a pain level of 8. Okay, she had a setback. She had a rebound effect. How often does she have those? Oh, this is the first time in 2 years? Oh, okay, well, maybe, she just pushed herself too hard or left the hospital too early. That was never taken into consideration. It was just attack on me, attack on me. Oh, you should have stayed in the hospital in the first place instead of making it seem like we didn't do something we were supposed to. Never accuse them of not doing their jobs. Never accuse them of falling short on anything. Only thing I did was ask for help. Well, I told all of that story to lead up to today when I got kicked off of their service for basically defending myself and for standing up for myself. That complaint I filed, basically, she decided she didn't want me on her service anymore. Because when I went in today, you can just tell she had this standoff personality. First thing that gave me pause was I've been going to this clinic for almost 2 years, never been drug tested. All of a sudden today I got drug tested. That's first of all. You know there's drugs in my system because you prescribe the drugs to me. Then they wanted to talk. The first thing she came in there and said was, I see you had a recent stay at SLU and you were prescribed some medicine there, and we have a pain contract here that you signed, which I never signed a pain contract, even though I offered to sign it like 3 times. Never signed one. So they were like, she was like, you can't get prescribed medicine from anybody other than us. And I said, well, the doctor that's over you, they see me in the hospital and they knew I was going to run out of my medicine, and they told me to just do what I had to do, make a choice on whether I wanted to stay in the hospital for days and let them treat me, or go home and make the choices with my pills, and we'll just deal with it when I run out of medicine. That's what happened. Because they were basically telling me that the pain and the problems that I was having wasn't from having sickle cell. I'm not understanding how all of my health problems are derived from sickle cell, but they don't have to be managed by like a sickle cell doctor. Like, if it's a different story if it was a different like body part, like say my teeth, which my teeth are messing up because of the sickle cell. I don't expect them to be dentists. I don't expect them to be um rheumatoid doctors or bone doctors. I just expect them to deal with sickle cell. So if you're saying that the only aspect of my health that you are willing to deal with is me being in pain, why is it that when I'm coming to you and talking about the pain that I'm in, you're saying that it's not your problem? That I need to go to another doctor, that I'm having pain from something else. And then when I go to another doctor and they tell you, no, that's not why she having pain. Her pain is coming from her having muscular skeletal crisis. Well, let them tell it there's no such thing. But I have been diagnosed with it several times. But that's not sickle cell. But if I go to the emergency room, they say it's sickle cell. Like, where do I fall? Like, this is why it's so frustrating for me as a sickle cell patient. Because, like, these doctors are picking and choosing what part of your health that they want to deal with. They are picking and choosing what parts of your life they're willing to assist you with. They tell you they want you to have the best quality of life and best outcome and health possible, but when you sit down with them and try to make a plan for that, it doesn't come together. It doesn't happen like that. And then it's all like blamed on you. It all falls on your lap. When you were a kid in pediatric health care for sickle cell patients, you didn't have these problems. You did not have these problems at all. But once you transition to adult African Americans, it's a problem. I don't care who don't like what I have to say. It's honest. When you are a child African American, it's so much different. Being a sickle cell patient is so much different than when you transition to being an adult African American. You go from little cute kids with this horrible health problem and this disease to grown drug addicts. Yes, you there's no in between. There's no adult with sickle cell. It's you either a drug addict or you just don't go to the hospital and take care of your health at all. You manage it the best way you can at home, and you just go to the hospital when you just have to. I'm done ranting for today. I'm sick of it. I got kicked off the goddamn lady service basically for advocating for myself, for reporting mistreatment. So now I have to find me a new doctor before I run out of pain medicine and end up in a unforgiving cycle of emergency room visits. Tell me what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for visiting Miss Kiwi's place. Till next time, bye my fuzzies.